All right, and we're live, gaming family. It's your brother LVG of the Gamer Section. I welcome you to another interview. Today, we are going to interview Mike from Brass Token. If you don't mind, Mike, please take it away and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mike Scupa. I'm the creative director at Brass.
Nice and simple. There we go. I
Yep.
like it. That's fine. That's fine. So, Mike, let me ask you this first, man. Was this your first game you ever created?
Oh no, I've been in the industry about 25 years now. So
Just a little bit,
yeah,
dabble here and there.
yeah, I've been doing it since I was a teenager, and
Okay.
but this is the first game our studio has created.
Now, how long has your studio been around?
Our studios, yeah, I mean, it started off really small, just a few of us working kind of on the side. I'd say about
Right.
four years ago, but I'd say in earnest with a team of over five people, it's been about 3 years now.
That's good. That's not. That's good. That's good. So you said you've been doing this for about 25 years.
Yeah.
So what was the
Uh,
first game you ever made?
it actually was a text-based role-playing game called Major Mud. So that was
Major Mud. Okay.
yeah, me and some friends ran an online multi-line BBS system in Vancouver,
Okay.
BC, and then
Okay.
yeah, we made like an online fantasy role-playing game for that, and yeah, so that was what got me into game design, and then shortly after that, I got a job at Radical Entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah, through a friend of mine who called the BBS, and also I used to play a lot of Street Fighter 2 with them.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
guys had
at the
history.
local grocery store. So, yeah.
Understandable. Understandable. That's cool. All right. So that's what got you into game design. That's cool. So let me
Mhm.
ask you a question. What's your favorite game of all time? First of all.
My favorite game of all time? Oh, that's a hard one. I don't think I have one.
Give me five.
Uh,
Give me five.
five. Okay, five I can do. I'd say Ultima 4, uh, Virtua Fighter 3, Maniac Mansion. Going way back. I'm thinking the ones that had the biggest left the
No,
biggest
you're good. You're good.
impression on me. I see a lot of these things go back to when I was a kid. I'd probably say Diablo.
Okay.
Was a big influence. Um, a big game changer at the time. And then finally, what one would I say? An old game called Mail Order Monsters.
I think that might have been before my time, honestly.
Yeah, that was back on the Commodore 64. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Might have been a little before my time. No, but Diablo definitely. Actually, I'm getting
yeah,
back into the franchise. Can't wait for four to
yeah,
come out.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, man. Well, let's get right into it. Please tell us about your game.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Chant, yeah, the Chant is it's a third person cosmic horror, I guess a survival adventure game. It's set in modern day times. Uh, it takes place at a remote spiritual retreat that
Mm-hmm.
your character goes to at the request of a friend. They have a shared past together,
Okay.
and your character goes there to get over some of her past baggage, make up with her friend, and hopefully turn her life around. Um,
But then it probably didn't go that way as smoothly, huh?
no, very very quickly, things kind of turn sour, and the I guess the personal demons of all the different characters at the retreat kind
Mm-hmm.
of become prey to this um, other dimension called the gloom, which is filled with these parasitic creatures that feed off negative emotions. So there's kind of a storyline going on in the present day,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the ensemble cast of characters, but you also get to experience a lot of the history of the island and the secrets of the island and hints of what's going on in the gloom and so forth
The Gloom,
as well.
Gloom, the Gloom.
Yes, the gloom.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. Okay, so what inspiration did you pull to make this game? What I guess games, movies. I mean, we're in the survival horror genre,
Yeah.
obviously, but what made you pull that and be like, hey, let's go this direction?
I think, I mean, well, another one of my favorite games of all time, Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
That was that I always wanted to make like a a classic, kind of survival horror game, even with fixed cameras and so forth. And that's actually the Chant started off as that. And then we eventually moved into more of an over-the-shoulder perspective as our team grew, and we got to do a little more exploration within the island. So that started off as kind of the goal, combined with a love for cosmic horror and just the idea of like, what if you could see, what if surrounding us was another dimension that normal human perception couldn't see. Very classic, Lovecraftian concept. And then I thought mixing that with kind of new age spiritual enlightenment was kind of a novel approach of mixing those two elements together, because there are some shared themes, I guess, between cosmic horror and also the supernatural awakening. I found a lot of occult influences also were drawn from that kind of even things like yoga and so forth like that. There's kind of a lot of these elements intertwined. So we kind of wanted to make our own little horror scenario, and it just kind of grew out of that concept. And then we just wrote the characters, and kind of once we wrote the characters, we kind of imagined how everything would kind of fall into place if an event like this happened.
Okay, so for those that have not played the game, and that's me, one of them, it's on my wish list. And I did. I'll play it. I'll play it this year, most definitely. I'll play it in the next few weeks, actually, to be honest with you. So, do we have the generic characters? Like, we got the one that's a little out there, the one that's I don't know, the jock. Like, who are the characters, and what's the character growth, I would say?
Well, I mean, the main character is Jess. So she's the character. She comes from the city, and she's not really into spirituality. Like, so doing something like this really takes her out of her comfort zone. The rest of the characters, kind of a mix of like, at least the main characters that she goes and meets at their retreat. They're people who all have their own reasons for going. Some of them are sincere. Some of them are a little more manipulative. But you have some of your we did a lot of research just on these types of groups, and just seeing the type of people that would be attracted to them, and then so just taking a lot of those influences, and also just the kind of relationships that Jess would also have as well. And we kind of designed those characters collectively together, and some elements of the characters kind of morphed and changed because we wanted to get kind of a group makeup, because each of these characters also has a very specific role to play in in the incident that occurs. So it was a combination of just kind of a narrative makeup of the characters, and like what we wanted each character to bring across, but also modifying them and changing them based on their role in the storyline, and I guess the chant itself that causes the supernatural.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, what engine is this game running on?
The Chant runs on Unreal Engine 4.
Okay, cool.
4.27.
Now, did you have any other? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and we've been doing updates and so forth. So we're continuing to update it. And
okay. So, did you find that Unreal was better than Unity or anything, or was there any other options you wanted to use before that?
I'd used Unity in the past, but most of my career I spent working on proprietary technology, so like tech that was built in-house. So this is the first time a lot of us have used Unreal, and just based on the type of game we were making, we decided on using Unreal, and we're glad we did. It's very ideally suited towards this type of game, and we try to take advantage of all of the elements that we can from Unreal. So it's nice, especially there's also we have Vancouver Film School nearby, which we've hired some people from there and gotten support from there, and a lot of the students there also use Unreal. They use Unity as well, in fact. So it's really nice to have people even though they don't necessarily have the hands-on game development experience in the workplace,
Right.
it's like they have a year of development experience because they've been utilizing the same technology at school.
That's cool. Okay. Okay. Now, how long have you been working on this current project of the Chant?
It's like I said, for myself, it's getting close to about 5 years. But then it was a much different game, I guess, at the time because it was super small and quite personal. But then, like I said, it's been a larger team for about the last 3 years.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So the name Brass Token, where did that come from? First of all, I want some more information on that.
Oh, that's that came from old arcade tokens. Right? So,
Okay, no, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's
So
perfect. Makes
I
sense.
spent a lot of time, in the arcades as a kid, and it was really just the
Just
concept of
putting all those
the
coins
little
in. Yeah.
tokens was quite nostalgic. So.
No, definitely. I understand completely. That's cool. That's cool. So, okay. What off sidebar real quick? What
Okay.
game made you want to wake up and decide I'm going to make a game? I'm going to be a dev today.
Like way back in the day.
I mean, whenever, like,
Yeah.
obviously something hit you so hard that you had an experience and you were like, I had this experience and I want to share this experience with other people that I had. So I guess what was that game or maybe even a movie that inspired you to say, let's do this? I want to make a game now.
Well, since I started doing the text-based role-playing games, it was probably playing old like MUDs on the internet or um, on the phone line with some high telephone bills, as
Yeah.
a teenager. So I think that kind of to me that was a neat time because it was all text that we were playing with for those kind of games. So you had to use your imagination. So I thought that was a good entryway for me because I didn't have any artistic skills or I had very rudimentary coding skills as a teenager. So I was someone who came at it more from the design writing side of things, and I think that kind of more text-based format was great for that. And then afterwards, just it was just I had a friend who, like I said, he worked at Radical, and we used to play a lot of fighting games and import games together, and we would talk about that a lot, and so that was my entryway to going, wow, I could actually go out and make console games, which was very at the time. I didn't know anyone else who did anything like that, so
Right.
definitely out of my comfort zone, but getting in that, it was really exciting, and just to take what I'd learned from previous design or even like pen and paper design and so forth.
Yeah, definitely.
And taking those elements, more into the 3D field. So that was really cool and exciting. And again, like even nowadays, it's like seeing working on larger projects and then seeing more independent projects coming out. And what you can do with a smaller team or with
definitely
technology like Unreal or Unity. Also, it's the industry changes, so I think what inspired someone like myself 20 years ago, there's different things that inspire me and other people I work with and know today, right? Because that's the cool thing about our industry; it's always changing, right? So you always have to be up to date on things and methodologies and so forth.
That's cool. So you guys pretty much did a lot of research putting this game out. I like that. Man, you're making me look forward to more and more to playing the game. That's
cool.
Just hearing the passion of your voice is like, yeah, I gotta play this. I'm gonna have to bump this up on the list now. So the game's been out for a little over a month now. Wait, hold on, maybe a little over 60 days, roughly.
Time goes by really quickly. So yeah, it's a little over 2 months now. Doesn't feel that long.
I guess that's a good thing. So with people playing it, I'm assuming you've already seen people play it on Twitch, on YouTube, things of that nature. You see the following that you have on Twitter. Is this the response that you're looking for in terms of your game? Are you excited to see it? Not excited. Are you sorry, I'm getting a little joggy headed now. Are you like this? Is this I can't talk now. Is this the response that you were looking for with the gamers?
Yeah, I think in general, I try not to read everything or look at everything because it can go down a rabbit hole.
You always got that one person,
No, well, it's also there's also particular things that you want to change or fix or modify and tweak. Even when you launch a game, it's there's there's always a lot of unfinished things that you'd like to deal with. But I actually was doing even some support stuff myself and doing customer support and so forth on Steam and that, helping out in that area. So it's nice to it's nice even when there are issues for you actually be able to solve them. That's to me quite rewarding. On a side note, like where someone actually has an issue and then you can go take the issue, look at it, and then patch it or so forth, and turn that person's experience. Especially if it's hardware related or something, it's always kind of unfortunate and hard to get. But yeah, I mean, people seem to be really I think they really appreciate the I guess the uniqueness, of the title and us taking a different approach and on that end, and we've seemed to get different types of gamers from different genres, so that's nice as well. So yeah, and then we're continuing to support the project and do what we can and get feedback. One thing I will say about when I guess on a smaller team is you can't necessarily play or get the kind of the global experience or breadth, especially when we've released the project. It's come out in multiple languages and different territories and so forth. So it's also interesting to get feedback from people in different cultures or different languages and hear what they have to say, because a lot of the time you're not necessarily sure how or even how is the performance in another language and so forth until you hear it from other people. So that's interesting to hear.
That's cool. Okay. So now when sitting down and say, hey, boom, we're gonna make the game The Chant, right? What are some challenges that you face while developing the game?
When it started, it was just learning to do so many things that the small group of us just hadn't done before. So that was just a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimentation, a lot of humbling experiences, right? Because you're doing things that you haven't done, and you may be really passionate about something, but passion can only take you so far. So yeah, I think it was just trying to find the right people. I think that's is a challenge. People who are really into making a project like this and willing to try new things. So thankfully we have a really strong team, and our team are very good at adapting to different things and technology changing, and like I said, there's always new updates and so forth happening with the technology and stuff like that. Like we've done a lot of things even internally in our team. Like we built a mocap studio, doing stuff like facial animation in-house, building up our own pipelines, a lot of things like even setting up servers, stuff like that, the kind of things that you take for granted when you're working in a different or an established place. So it's been really challenging to try all these new things and make these mistakes and learn these lessons, but it's also super rewarding because I have no idea what I'll be doing a month from now on any particular day, and it's nice to get out of the routine and still be able to kind of learn and grow.
Definitely. All right, so apart from characters and settings, what are some elements you're using for storytelling with Chant?
So I mean, with the storytelling, we use some traditional methods like cinematics and so forth, where where we can really focus on key narrative beats of the story. But we also have a lot of dialogue in game where characters will walk and talk and converse with each other while they're exploring particular parts of the island. We have lore. There's a lot of lore peppered around the island.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so you can read elements, occult items from the past. Some of those are used in puzzles. Some of those are used to learn more about the creatures and the gameplay, and some of those are just to provide flavor and trigger your imagination. There's also things like projector reels that you can follow and so forth. So that combined with environmental storytelling and we have supernatural elements. So these little creatures that feed upon people's emotions called mind eaters, and when you encounter them in the gloom, they'll also echo back the thoughts of the characters and stuff. So
Really?
you can learn a bit about the characters in the past through those as well. So it's kind of a different take on learning about the narratives.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow. And I gotta bump it up further in the list now. No, okay.
Oh,
That's pretty interesting. Okay, so you said you don't know what you're doing in a month, but I mean, are you teasing us? Do you have any future projects you're willing to work on, or are we going to get a possible Chant 2 by chance? Or come on now,
well,
talk to
no,
me.
I can't reveal. I'm not allowed to reveal. But, well, I know what us as a studio are doing a month. It's more a case of on any given day.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, so we're basically, we should be able to actually share more quite soon on particulars with the Chant, our plans there. We're also just working on updating our technology, and we want to continue to make original IP. So
Definitely.
we're working on we've got some new conceptual work that we're working on, and prototyping as we speak as well. So
Okay.
it's been nice. Like we had, it was nice to have a Christmas break, but yeah, it's there's a lot of ideas and stuff that we had while working on the Chant. Some things that didn't get to make it in that game, that as well as just some conceptual ideas in other genres.
Okay. So you wouldn't be able to tell me if we possibly will have a DLC for the Chant, maybe?
I'll be able to share more soon. I can't say.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Hopefully, we'll let you know as soon as we can.
Well, guys, you look. He
Yeah.
didn't confirm or deny, so it's up in the air. So we'll see. All right. So with you having your experience with being a developer, is there any type of, I guess, recommendations or tips you would give future devs?
I think to me, I mean, again, like right now, it's I think things are much more accessible
Mhm.
than when I started. So I think the opportunities there, especially with your ability to just get an engine like Unreal, um, Unity,
Mhm.
and just download the software, play around, see what you're passionate about. I think my biggest thing that I recommend is just find something you're passionate about, and you feel that you have an inherent kind of confidence in,
Okay.
something that interests you. Because I think with to me, game development's all about problem solving, and you're constantly trying to solve all these new problems. So if it's
Right.
something
Right.
that you
Right.
actually are inherently interested in, or something, those thoughts are going through your heads, and that intrigue's there, it's going to make the job a lot easier and a lot
Definitely.
more exciting. But again, it really depends also on the field you're in, right? If you're getting into art and so forth, like, there, there's so much to learn, and even from the traditional arts, and it really depends on the type of game and the type of style that you're
Mhm.
into. But and also, I mean, studying games, breaking them down, analyzing them. I think that's something that also really helps in game design. And there's so much information you can get,
Mhm.
especially nowadays, where you can go and look at games, and people are breaking down all the systems and strategies and numbers. You can really get an idea of what has actually gone into game. Especially on the more design and mechanical front. So,
Okay.
and if you're doing a story-based game, it's you got to look outside of games, and watch a lot of movies.
Definitely.
There's so much written word comics. Another big one that I find is pen and paper RPGs. Anytime I'm starting on a new concept, that's the first place I go, is just go get a few source books, and start thinking about how things can work mechanically, and so forth.
Cool, cool, cool. So now, I guess when making the Chant, How did you and your crew come together and plan and organize the project?
That actually that was different at different stages. When it started, and it was just a few of us, that was very ad hoc. You just coming up with ideas, seeing what you can do with your limited resources.
Hmm.
We didn't have any funding or anything at the time, so you're also just there's people have time commitments and so forth, because it's not necessarily a full-time job. I think once we actually got some funding, and we started off, we got funding from the Canada Media Fund, which was extremely helpful for us. Um, Once we got that, then obviously we had to plan things properly and create schedules, break down the design documentation into scoping everything out, and so forth. And yeah, so I think planning a small project and a big project, there's a lot of similarities. Having good planning and breaking things down is extremely important, but while also leaving yourself a little bit of room to react and do things organically. Especially once I find you can plan so much, but once you give it to people outside the team,
Hmm.
and have them play it.
Hmm.
It things it's really hard to play your game as a first time player if you're a developer on it. So you learn a lot when external people come in. So that was really important to us to get as much feedback as possible and react accordingly and do what we can, on that end. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, with creating the chant, what was the most challenging part about it? You sound
I
like you have a few.
No, there's a lot, dozens. I'd say definitely I'd never worked on a horror game before, so that
Okay.
was, I played a lot, but that wasn't, it's not something I had done before. So there was a lot of learning lessons there, especially in regards to atmosphere and so forth, which was really exciting. Like just trying to make a more measured approach to things. And I'd say mechanically, it was pretty tricky to do a horror game using melee weapons.
Okay.
That was something that not a lot of games had done before. In the past, I had never done before, and I find from a design perspective, combat is often a very melee combat's often very you move forward a lot,
Hmm.
and that's something where often in a horror scenario you kind of want to keep your distance. So that
Definitely. Yeah.
that kind of push and pull of having having it be fun, but not having the character feel too empowered
Hmm.
was a real interesting design challenge that we spent a lot of time, working around, tuning resources, balancing, giving players it kind of up to them, and do they want to fight an encounter or run away from it? That was definitely a big challenge. And then obviously the pandemic, you know,
Yeah.
that scenario. I think we handled it quite well, and we worked together and communicated and utilized technology and so forth to speak. But when it came time to like booking actors and directing mocap,
Mhm.
that was extremely difficult to do. Uh, in a situation like that, with trying to make sure that the distancing and so forth was there, and scheduling actors at different times. And I think a lot of the time in the industry, or even things like when you're in the audio booth and you're doing audio recordings and stuff
Right.
like that, a lot of these things that we wouldn't think would have been difficult to navigate were, so especially since a lot of us hadn't organized anything like that before. So yeah, but
Cool.
but
Cool.
in the end, I think we overcame those elements, so, and learned a lot
Okay.
from it. So.
Okay. So, with where you're at right now and with the release of the chant, if you could travel back to the start of everything and know what you know now, would you do anything differently?
Huh. Oh yeah, probably a lot of things. No, I mean, like anything, you learn so much from what you from from uh, from just people playing the game and all that. So I think Yeah, I'm trying to think how I would have done it. There's so many things I'd love to do differently. I just don't know how I would do them differently
Yeah.
necessarily, right? But I think, yeah, I think on that end, probably for us, just probably you're never too early to start having people, come in and play test, focus group test, so forth, and then yeah, and yeah, I'd say that, and just more communication, up front. Try things out, play things out. Don't wait too long. Hoping that a new idea is gonna work out in the end, like really prove it out and test it out, just so that you can have a little more confidence in that going going forward in the future.
Cool, 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 cool. All right. So let them know where they can find you at, please.
Me personally,
Yes.
okay.
Or just Brad's Token or period. I don't know if
Yeah,
you have anything personal or
yeah,
if you just work as a group.
yeah. No,
Where can
no.
they find you at on social media?
Oh, my social media account's quite quaint. I'm not even sure what my personal accounts are. I respond to them on the. I think it's the Chant game is our for Twitter and Instagram. Maybe I'll have to verify all these elements to get back to you. And then yeah, and you can contact me at like on the on our website. You can send. I think we have support stuff there, and there's bios on myself and other people in the yeah, on our team. So, and then hopefully we'll be. I mean, one thing that we've got our own social media account going that it's quite humble, but it's growing, and there's a very supportive and dedicated group of people in there, and that's something that we're actually planning to do a lot more of. And what we do in the future, we want to be a big part of the planning is to actually showcase more of what we're doing as we develop, and just to kind of share what we're thinking and going through, and getting the thoughts and feedback from the community, because it's been extremely helpful and encouraging for us.
Cool, cool, cool.
So hopefully I'll be able to share more of that as we get those things set up.
No, definitely, no problem, no problem. Well, again, tell us your game and what platforms it's available on.
Okay, so yeah, the game we recently released is the Chant from Brass Token. It's available on Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Perfect,
And you can find it in stores and online.
Cool, cool. Well, Mike, thank you for taking time out of your day to come hang out with us at the gamer section. We really appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, this is LVG with the gamer section. I'm out. Peace and love. You guys be safe out there.
Take care. Okay, you got a minute?